Hello from Tokyo. Today I'm going to use yellow as my base. This has Amsterdam Titanium White and a bit of this Value Yellow brand. So we'll see how it works with my pouring medium. And for the florals, I'm going to use this light blue, which was this base color here. So it's a light consistency like the yellow. And this is titanium white, iridescent white. For the middles of the flowers, phthalo blue and an iridescent greenish blue, I think it's called, or green blue by Pebeo. And there's light gold as well for the outline of the flowers. So those two thinner paints have been mixed with 70% PVA glue and 30% water, very, very thin. And then for the colors, I have added a little bit of Floetrol. So you can see that there. And let's have a look at the consistency. Here is the yellow base paint. It's very thin. And then for the other colors, it's a little bit thicker. So now let's lay down the base paint. So after fixing all the edges and corners and torching out any air bubbles, it's time to lay down some paints for the florals. So I'm going to start with some gold and some white and blowing it out to see how it mixes together or blends together. I'm starting to notice here that the yellow base paint is eating up my paints. Can you see how the white is disappearing and the gold has definitely sunk as well completely on some bits? This can happen when I'm using certain paint brands, and I remember watching, maybe it was Molly's Artistry, who recommended mixing with another paint like Amsterdam if you have paints with issues like that. So that's what I did with the yellow paint, but it might not have been enough. So I'm just going to carry on, and I'm putting the light blue now on top as well, seeing if that might hold better against the yellow paint. So we shall see when we do the balloon dips what happens. It might be a cool effect in itself. Yeah, here I am looking for the gold. Where's the gold gone? So let's do a balloon smash and see how it goes. It seems to be sticking better with the light blue paint, and it could be because it's a similar consistency to the yellow. I've been playing a lot with different consistencies and finding some really interesting embossing effects and whatnot, which I will try and show you at some point. I'm still in experimental phase with all of them, but it looks as though with this, it was good to put that light blue paint down. By the way, I am wiping the balloon each time I do a balloon smash on these ones. These particular paintings, the last few I've done, I've not really been doing the repetitive smashes, which gives more petals. I've just kind of been doing like a single smash per flower because I'm experimenting with the middles at the moment. But I'll go back to doing the other ones, I think for the next painting actually. I miss doing the many smashes on the one spot. sometimes you can find the paint beneath by blowing it out a bit. So that's something to do as well, to create some extra petals or to find the missing petals, or to expand them a little bit longer or wider, as I'm doing here. Okay, it's time to work on the middles. So I will smash this with a water balloon and you'll see how it disappears, but the paint is all underneath. So you just have to take a straw and blow it out like this, and then dab the middle to center it all together. So I'm trying to not mix the yellow underneath with the blue because I don't really want it to go green. And it's working okay at the moment, so I'm happy about that. When I center the middle, I actually take a little bit of the light blue paint from the outside and bring it in as well, so it kind of separates the pollen area a little bit. Can you see I just did that there as well? And you'll see it when we look at the close-up what effect it has. By the way, you might have noticed that I'm using a paper towel to wrap around my water balloon. I find if I have left the water balloon for like 3 or 4 days, it will tend to get a little hole in it whilst I'm balloon smashing. So if you're using it the next day after a painting, you're reusing it, there's no issue. But be careful if you waiting a few days. It gets very fragile easily, I think. So. I'm taking a toothpick to add a little bit of that iridescent color because I think a lot of it got lifted up by the water balloon. So just adding a little bit, and then I'll torch out any air bubbles, and then let's have a look at the wet finish of the painting. So going closer in, can you see what I mean by bringing in some of the white paint, or sorry, the light blue paint to the middle of the flowers? Can you see there? I like the extra iridescent blue added there too. It's kind of floaty looking, isn't it? It's really pretty. Yeah, it's funny how when you're a little bit panicked because the effect is different to usual and it starts to work out though in your favor. You always have to carry on to see what happens. That's really pretty. It's like a pansy within a flower. So yes, this is coming down the other side. I wonder how it's going to dry this time, whether any of that gold will come out, because at this point it's disappeared. So let's have a look at the dried painting. Here it is. It's actually a lot lighter yellow than what's showing on camera. But the gold has come out. Can you see? Can you see that a little bit of the gold has come through now, which gives it a bit of extra dimension. Let's go closer in. Yes, it's so pretty. And it didn't mix green, which is great. I love the kind of jaggedy edges to these petals. And also, because the paint, the light blue, is so thin in consistency, it's kind of almost looking transparent, even if it's not a transparent paint. it's resulted in a very delicate floral painting. And I wonder if you can see the light blue. It looks kind of more white in this lighting, I guess. So I've brought it on the floor to see if the lighting is better and to compare with the light blue at the background. Can you tell that it's this blue? Maybe because the background is yellow, it's harder to see that. But yeah, it is definitely light blue. The white, the titanium white disappeared a bit, but you can see it on the edges, like for this flower. Not sure if there's a huge difference in lighting to check out the petals here, but just wanted to see if it does look a bit different. But anyway, there you go. So there we have it. It's like a diptyque, but unintentional. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the painting today. Thank you so much for watching as always, and see you in the next one. Bye!